Hi, John Dwyer here from the Institute of Wow. In these video blogs, I'm generally bringing up subjects that have been discussed with me by my clients. And one of those subjects happens to be, should I hold an event? And I happen to be a great fan of holding events. I generate a lot of my income these days by doing exactly that. I will hold a seminar and I will invite business owners to come, and I will showcase my wow factor marketing formula, and then there will be a percentage of those people who will want to get more stuff from me, and they will either visit me at theinstituteofwow.com, or on that day they will invest in a coaching program of some sort. I have lots of online coaching programs and offline coaching programs. Now, the point is that this has pretty much revolutionized my income over the last 3 or 4 years. I was a marketing consultant before that, where I traded time for money. And so therefore I charged a weekly or monthly or quarterly amount of money, and my clients would pay me accordingly. This model is all about holding events and selling once to many. Okay, so it's been a real eye-opener for me. I wish that I had found this event marketing a lot earlier in my career, but nonetheless, I'm glad that I found it now. So I'd like to pass on these hints to you. No matter what business you're in, hold an event and sell once to many. And how it works is pretty much the same way that Tupperware has been working for many, many years, and I think Nutrimedics and quite a few other direct selling companies work the same way. And that is, they believe that it's much more sensible to actually sell once to many instead of door knocking like the Hoover vacuum salesman used to do all those years ago. And so therefore think about it for your business. I've had accountants, for example, that have decided to, take me up on my suggestion to hold an event. And they've held a couple of my clients who are accountants, have held an event and invited 50 or 60 or 70 business owners along to provide them with ways that they can, ideas that they can minimize their tax, and ways that they can build their wealth, ways that they can set up their own self-managed superannuation fund, and so on and so forth. And at the end of those free cocktail evenings, because by the way, you've got to put on some food and drink. Just don't hold an event at your office or at a function centre after hours and expect people are going to come if you don't feed them and water them. But yeah, at the end of those events, my accountancy clients have actually offered the opportunity for people to access those, that sort of advice in terms of super funds and in terms of wealth creation and in terms of minimising tax and stuff like that. And on both occasions, out of the 50 or 60 people that were there, they've had something like between 15 and 20 sign-ups. That's a pretty good hit rate, isn't it? Okay, for a very low cost of putting on some cakes, some sandwiches, some drinks, and maybe some tapas food. Think about what it can do for you. Have a look at what I'm just about to play on the screen for you here. This happens to be an expo. In fact, a royal show that I went to in Brisbane. Every city in Australia have these big fairs that we call the royal shows, and this one happens to be in Brisbane. And it's full of people, giving out samples, and very famous sample bag pavilion with lots of candy and so forth. But as you walk around the various pavilions, there are lots of people holding various mini events within this big show. And let me show you this one. This happens to be a cooking demonstration by people who were selling their wares, and their wares were cooking books, cooking training programs, and basically they're leveraging off the huge success of the MasterChef TV franchise at the moment. Have a quick look at it.
You'll have the other ones coming up now, and you notice the difference. The mussels are really good in that they will complement with quite a few different flavours. You can just use simple butter.
Okay, so you get the drift. Now, there were quite a number of people who were at the big show who happened to be walking through this pavilion that stopped, watched the cooking demonstration, and then purchased what they were selling afterwards. That's what it's all about, selling once to many. Think about how you can sell once to many. Now, look, I'm not a great fan of the breakfast events. And the reason that I'm not a great fan of speaking at Chamber of Commerce's and things like that is because at the end of your presentation, it's generally 8:30 or maybe 8:45, and everyone tends to rush off to work because they need to be at work on time. And so I'm not a great fan of that because they can't linger and talk with you. I'm more a fan of lunches and more a fan of having a tapas dinner event whereby you just have finger food, some cocktail drinks and so forth, and people can then linger unless they want to get home to watch their favourite TV show, but most of them can linger and talk to you afterwards. I had a furniture shop who I convinced to have an event in a little country town. I mean, I've had lots of clients that have held events and been very successful at them, but let me tell you about the furniture shop. Happens to be in a little regional New South Wales country town in an industrial area. It wasn't even in the main street. It was actually where a lot of factories were. And I said, look, for goodness sake, hold a furniture expo. Now, they happen to specialise in bamboo flooring and bamboo furniture, so they had a unique sort of selling point. I said, just have a bamboo furniture and flooring expo over, a Saturday or a Friday and a Saturday. And they kept on resisting it for some time, but because they were in my private coaching environment, I was the squeaky door. I kept on saying, look, do it, do it, do it. Anyway, they did it. They held this 2-day expo, and guess what? They put on a high tea to attract the women. They had wine and they had snacks and they had tapas and all that sort of stuff. And they called it the do-it-yourself, flooring expo, flooring and furniture expo, because you actually could buy the bamboo flooring from them and actually, do it yourself. Let me play you a radio ad that they produced to promote this expo. And then after the radio ad, I'll tell you exactly what the results were.
Now, here's some great news if you're planning any type of home renovation in the near future. There's a flooring expo tomorrow and Saturday in Port Macquarie at Verde Bamboo's showroom. And on the phone, I've got Emily Atchison.
Hi, Mark. Well, with so many do-it-yourself renovators these days, we thought it would be terrific to have an expo to show people lots of flooring choices and how they can save big dollars doing it themselves.
Well, that's great because, let's face it, the floor can make or break the ambience of a home, can't it?
Yep, a stunning floor can transform a home from bland to grand very quickly.
So there'll be floors on display for both inside and out?
Absolutely. Verde Bamboo has lots of flooring and decking options and also exquisite bamboo furniture on display.
And a host of experts there to help us as well. If you want to enhance your home, the Flooring Expo is at Verde Bamboo's showroom, 26 Central Road, Port Macquarie, tomorrow and Saturday, 9 till 5. Full details are at verdebamboo.com.au. Sounds like an absolute beauty for any home renovator. Thanks, Emily.
Thanks, Mark.
Now, let me tell you what happened. On the Monday after this event, they rang me, the owner. There were two sisters probably in their 30s, who rang me and said, JD, we've got to take our hat off to you. It worked. And I said, oh, wow. How much did it work? They said, we took an entire month's takings in 2 days. They took an entire month's worth of turnover in just a couple of days. Why? Because they promoted an event. It was a big event. It was a furniture and flooring expo. I've had real estate agents that have put together real estate and home expos, and so therefore, what do we call it? That's what they call it, real estate and lifestyle expos, where they invited other exhibitors such as swimming pool manufacturers and landscapers, turf farms, solar electricity companies, to all join forces and hold a big lifestyle and real estate event. And the real estate agent, who's a client of mine, said to me that they ended up tripling the listings that they normally would have in any one weekend. Tripling the listings. Okay, now real estate agents can't survive without listings, so that's a pretty big result. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. So therefore, the takeout from this video blog is hold an event, well, at least consider holding an event for your products or services.